रेडियो उड़ान के अपडेट्स लेने के लिए इस चैनल को सब्सक्राइब कीजिए और इस वीडियो को ज्यादा से ज्यादा लाइक कीजिए और शेयर कीजिए। फॉर मोर इन्फो लॉग ऑन टू www.radioudan.com।
This show is brought to you by National Center for Promotion of Employment for Disabled People.
तुम क्या कर रहे हो?
पेंटिंग बना रहा हूँ।
वाह, ये तो बहुत सुंदर है। पर तुम इतने परेशान क्यों लग रहे हो?
जब से डिसेबल्ड हुआ हूँ अपना टैलेंट दिखाने की अपॉर्चुनिटी ही नहीं मिल रही।
मैं यही तो बताने आई थी। सिर्फ पेंटिंग ही नहीं बल्कि कुकिंग, टेलरिंग, वर्ड प्रोसेसिंग, वेबसाइट डिजाइनिंग, ज्वेलरी मेकिंग, बेकिंग जैसी 42 कैटेगरीज में इंटरनेशनल लेवल पर इंडिया को रिप्रेजेंट कर सकते हो।
वो कैसे?
सार्थक और NAAI ऑर्गेनाइज कर रहे हैं ओलंपिक स्किल कंपटीशन फॉर पर्सन्स विद डिसेबिलिटी, जिसमें आपको मौका मिलेगा अपना टैलेंट इंटरनेशनल लेवल पर दिखाने का।
तो मुझे रजिस्टर कहाँ करना होगा?
रजिस्ट्रेशन करने के लिए विजिट करें www.abilympicssindia.org। You can also call at 9899502660।
थैंक्स फॉर द इन्फॉर्मेशन। मैं अभी जाके रजिस्टर करता हूँ।
जी हाँ दोस्तों, नमस्कार, आदाब, सत श्री अकाल। मैं दानिश महाजन प्रोग्राम बदलता दौर में स्वागत करता हूँ। जैसा कि आप जानते हैं कि हमारी सीरीज चल रही है एनसीपी EDP जावेद अवीदी फेलोज के साथ। आज हमारे साथ हमारी कम्युनिटी का बहुत ही चर्चित चेहरा हमारे साथ है। ये ट्रिपल ITN है और जावेद अवीदी फेलो है। इनकी रिसर्च का टॉपिक है स्टेम एजुकेशन। इनसे जानेंगे इस टॉपिक के बारे में डिटेल में। हमारे साथ सौरभ प्रसाद हैं। सौरभ, बहुत बहुत स्वागत रेडियो उड़ान पे।
हेलो एवरीवन, और ये बहुत अच्छा लग रहा है मुझे आज फिर आप लोगों के साथ इंटरेक्ट करके। तो जैसा सर ने बताया, मेरा नाम सौरभ प्रसाद है एंड प्रेजेंटली आई एम वर्किंग एज अ जावेद अवीदी फेलो अंडर NCP EDP, where my focus is to promote STEM education for the students with visual challenges. So today I'll be sharing my insights from the baseline report and whatever my progress has been and आगे के लिए मेरा विजन क्या है। So थैंक्स एवरीवन।
बिल्कुल। तो कब आपको लगा कि मुझे इस फेलोशिप को करना चाहिए? व्हाट वाज द आइडिया टू टेक दिस फेलोशिप?
So basically I was in my third year pursuing my BTech and I was doing some of the internships and I was working on a couple of other projects at that time. But suddenly I found this information circulating in a WhatsApp group that hey, there's a fellowship that goes forward to advocate for the persons with disability. So when I read about it, they said, you can work on your own theme, you can choose your own theme, you can pitch your idea, and then you can get to work on what you want. So from the beginning time only, this has been the greatest motivation for me to, help a lot of students who are facing similar challenges that I did in my schooling. So we'll talk about it later as well, but as we know that STEM field में visually impaired students का contribution is very, very less. And a lot of students are there who end up quitting these subjects early in their schooling, and then they're not able to participate equally in other like tech related job due to this limitation. So I wanted to bridge this gap, help those students and make them aware about the techniques that I had used during my education time, and what can be the other way I can help them. So there was a motivation inside me to help them. And then I thought to, organize this idea into a piece. And that's what I did. I prepared a pitch. I shared all my motives and the kind of work I wanted to do with NCP EDP. And it went through a process. And then I got to know that I was selected for that. And this is how it started.
Right. तो अब हमें ये बताएं, यही टॉपिक क्यों?
ओके, सो क्योंकि ये टॉपिक ऐसा है जिससे मैं खुद बहुत ज्यादा रिलेट कर पाता हूँ। व्हेन आई सॉ कि क्लास 8 के बाद कैसे आपके पास ऑप्शंस होते हैं। जब मैं स्पेशल स्कूल में था तो मैं आपको बता दूं, ज्यादातर स्पेशल स्कूल्स में स्टूडेंट्स आर अलाउड टू क्विट दीज सब्जेक्ट्स आफ्टर 8 एंड टेक संस्कृत एंड म्यूजिक इंस्टेड, एंड आई डिड नॉट डू दैट। 10th के बाद व्हेन आई आस्क्ड फॉर परस्यूइंग मैथ्स एंड साइंस फ्रॉम द स्कूल वेयर आई वाज टोल्ड कि हमारे पास बच्चों की रिकमेंडेशन नहीं है और किसी एक स्टूडेंट के लिए वी कैन नॉट डू द चेंज एंटायरली। सो दिस इज समथिंग दैट हिट मी एंड आई थॉट कि जितने भी schools हैं who are not coming forward to support the students, I should pursue this thing as a part of advocacy and अगर policy level पे जाकर के if there is some changes, so that would reflect in all the schools which are currently not following the process of encouraging and supporting students in their higher education. So that was the greatest motivation why I chose this field.
Right. You know, Saurabh, last time we had a show and it was a big hit. If you might have noticed on YouTube, it crossed 10,000 views. So people have passion to listen what you are doing, how you are approaching, and what is new in this STEM education field for the visually challenged. Now I want to understand from you your baseline studies and what are the key findings you have found in your studies.
Definitely happy to share that, and I'm really happy to know that about that success. So अगर हम background की बात करें तो we should be aware that visually impaired students को math and science पढ़ने के लिए unfit माना जाता रहा है, and one of the basic reason behind it their visual limitations. Math and science concepts डिमांड करते हैं कि आपको विजुअल डेमोन्स्ट्रेशन आपको समझ में आनी चाहिए. इट्स ऑल अबाउट चॉक एंड टॉक प्रोसेस. जो आपको क्लास में बताया जा रहा है, आप जो बुक्स में डायग्राम सीख रहे हो, आप जो प्रैक्टिकल्स परफॉर्म कर रहे हो, everything it involves visual need, and because they are lacking these senses, so people assume that they are not fit for studying this subject. But at the end they have to understand कि जितनी भी प्रोसेसिंग होती है, जितने भी आप कैलकुलेशंस करते हो, they are done by your brain and not by your eyes. So अगर आप उन डायग्राम्स को, अगर आप उन कॉन्सेप्ट्स को विजुअलाइज कर पाते हो, then it is going to be completely easy. But still, why is the case that students are not encouraged? I think one of the main reason is because it demands for external efforts. It demands for more and more efforts from the teachers and the parent side कि वो अपने बच्चों को प्रमोट करें इन सब्जेक्ट्स को पढ़ने के लिए, and the identifying the gaps wherever they are lacking, like the motivation, or they are lacking the concepts. How can they innovate different techniques to teach them? So those teachers who were taking these initiatives were able to guide their students, but majority of students, they were not able to pursue these subjects. So इसी background को continue करते हुए, when I started, I just wanted to do a survey and not limit myself to just my own assumptions. So I first of all I contacted a lot of schools in Delhi. Some of the schools were National Association for the Blind, Saksham Trust, AICB, National Institute for the Empowerment of Persons with Visual Disability, Dehradun. And in सभी schools को contact करने के बाद I prepared a list of around 100 students, जिसमें I think about 30 female students were there and 70 of them were male students. So basic demographics details I asked them, like whether they were having congenital blindness or they acquired it later in their life. So out of them, 75 of them said that they were having blindness by their birth, and just 23 of them were there who told that they acquired it later in their life and this is how it affected them. So in my study, I was targeting 3 groups. एक वो students जो class 8th या उससे below पढ़ाई कर रहे हैं, एक वो students जो class 9th and above में हैं, and एक वो students जो 9th and above हैं with maths. So basically 3 groups. One is 8th and below, other students are 9th and above with maths, and the third group was 9th and above without maths. So considering these 3 groups, I prepared separate questionnaires for them. जो basic questions थे, जो students अभी maths and science पढ़ रहे थे, उनके लिए कुछ basic questions ये थे कि I basically asked them to rate all the concepts like arithmetic, geometry, algebra, and some of the concepts from data handling. So I just asked them to rate on the difficulty level from 1 to 5, and finding के according, most of the students ने ये बताया कि geometry was something that they were really struggling with. Then I asked whether they had access to the accessible textbooks. So most of them had access to the textbooks, but then my next question was whether they were able to follow their textbooks entirely. So जिन students के पास books braille में available थी, they said that they were able to read books and understand things, most of the things on their own. But the students who were having digital books and they did not have access to the tactile diagram, so then they said that we are not able to read the symbols, we are not able to read the equations, क्योंकि हम बात कर रहे हैं उन स्टूडेंट्स की जो पहले पढ़ाई कर रहे थे, and at that time these things were not accessible in the digital format, which is completely accessible nowadays. So they told us that we had difficulties in following the equations, symbols, and the diagrams. So we were not really sure about following those books by ourselves. So we would take help from our either parents or teachers or friends. So my next question was, okay, so if you are able to follow the books and if you are able to follow the books and understand the concepts, then what about the role of the teacher? Were you able to follow the instructions being provided by teacher in classroom? So जो students special school में थे, उन्होंने तो कहा that we were getting special attention, and even if we don't understand, even if you didn't understand, we asked the teachers and they explained it again. So it was not a tough job for us to understand everything like with the help of the teachers. But जो students regular school में थे, sadly they said that they were not able to follow everything in the classroom in the regular school. When they would come back, then they would ask their teachers, and students जो NAB में पढ़ रहे थे, they also reported similar things that when we come back to the hostel, then we have specialized classes for us, then we get to revise those subjects. So most of the things are not covered in the classroom, but when we come back, then we are able to understand these the entire concepts that we have like studied in the classroom. Apart from that, I also asked like, what is the role of your contribution in the science lab in your school, whether you are performing the experiments of biology or chemistry. So there also I did not get much motivating response. They said that, okay, we go to the labs, we do perform, we get to know what is being done, but in the chemistry lab we are not provided entire samples to do, and which is reasonable also, because if you don't have such facilities, then it is difficult to accommodate them into that inaccessible scenarios, because there are some certain guidelines and that schools have to follow. So definitely this was also one of the greatest limitation. And I also asked about the involvement of scribe, whether ki aap scribe use karte ho exam mein. Do you feel that if you write exams on your own, it is more confident, or if you want to just pursue with a scribe only? So I think I don't remember the exact numbers, but ज़्यादातर students जो regular schools में थे, they were taking scribe, and students who were in special school, they were doing their exams on their own. And कुछ students, I mean, they were less, but students were there who were in the regular school and also doing the exams on their own using their laptops. So ये हमें बहुत कुछ बताता है. Like if I start sharing about upcoming changes and adaptation of technology into the studies, so it is quite eminent कि अगर students, if they are provided the required resource like laptop, and if they are provided required training कि maths कैसे आपको लिखना है laptop में, how you have to write your how do you have to deal with diagrams, आप बाकी concepts को कैसे समझ सकते हो. If these things are taught to them, I think we'll get to witness a great change, irrespective of whether it is special school or regular school. Technology is something that can link everyone to the mainstream. So these are some of the very, very basic things that I wanted to ask, and just a couple of more things to cover. So मैंने इस पे भी enforce किया था कि how did it affect their learning when they switched from offline to online mode. So ज़्यादातर लोगों ने बोला कि हम special school में जब मैं regular school में पहले था, and I was not getting what teacher is saying in classroom, but when recording became available, then after watching it and following teachers what they are teaching, I was able to follow most of the things. So ये भी एक बहुत बड़ी finding है. If students are able to follow the recordings, क्योंकि recording available हो जाने के बाद एक फायदा ये होता है कि now you are learning on your own pace. If you don't understand anything, you just pause the video and you just think on that, what exactly teacher said on that. And if there is some portion where you're not able to understand what the teacher has written on Blackboard, so in that case, you can take the help of your friend or your teacher or your anybody else who can guide you to know that. और ये थोड़ी बहुत support से students were able to follow their teachers completely. And lastly, many students also said that क्योंकि हमारा medium was like just Hindi, so we were studying even maths and science, everything in Hindi. So later on, we were not very confident whether we should go in pursuing these subjects in English or not, because other schools, अगर आप जब switch करते हो 10th के बाद, then Rarely you find any school who are providing the subjects in Hindi. Even in all CBSE schools, they provide the syllabus in English. So students were a little bit reluctant for that. So these are some of the basic findings and the, like aspects that I wanted to share.
So did you cover in your study कि जो हमारे स्पेशल स्कूल्स हैं जहाँ जो इंक्लूसिव स्कूल्स हैं वहाँ क्या स्टेप्स लिए जा रहे हैं स्टेम एजुकेशन को एनकरेज करने के लिए, या फिर किस तरह की इनोवेशंस जो हैं वो टेक प्लेस कर रही हैं इन दिनों में ताकि बच्चों को एनकरेज किया जाए? कुछ ऐसा आपकी स्टडी में है?
Yes, definitely. So, अगर आपको मैं बताऊं, just when I graduate, like when I completed my 10th from NIPH and I successfully completed my 12th as well. So after that, I got to witness this change. This story got circulated there, and they started sending their students 11th class onward to a nearby school called Scholars Home. So this was an initiative taken by them, and they said, okay, students are ready to pursue, we are ready to provide them support. NAB में भी बहुत सारे लोग आने लग गए for requesting them to help them get admission for in class 11th if they wanted to pursue. So there also more and more involvement came. And अगर especially steps की बात करें, so the message has been circulated to all the schools that okay, nowadays students are ready to follow these subjects, but schools अभी तक अपने system में they have not brought up the change. But what they have done is they have started sending students to the nearby regular schools. कि आप जाओ, आप पढ़ो. If you need any help from our side, we can provide you. So ultimately, it's on the students, but the finances and transportation, accommodation, these things are managed by those special schools.
तो अभी long way to go.
We are still long way to go. But अच्छी बात यह है कि national education policy revamp होने के बाद there are many schools जो इस बात को जानते हैं कि now 11th onward they have flexibilities. You can either choose just physics or you can choose just maths with humanities. So ये flexibility is going to bring about a lot of students, क्योंकि कुछ students ऐसे होते हैं who are really good in maths, but they are very much doubtful about following what will happen in physics if I'm not able to follow. So if that is the scenario, students will definitely be free to opt maths with humanities subjects or chemistry with other subjects. So this flexibility is something which is going to, I think, bring a lot of participation from students. But जो special schools है, they still have to, make it a part of their regular system. They have to, involve teachers and dedicated mentors for this. And in these regular schools, it's already there. But all we have to do is to make sure कि जो concept students को समझ में नहीं आते class में, can we start providing recordings to them, or can we just ensure that all the study material that we share in terms of worksheets or assignments are provided to the students in an accessible form, ताकि बाद में उन्हें जाके किसी को रिक्वेस्ट ना करना पड़े कि हे मुझे ये एक्सेसिबल फॉर्मेट में डिक्टेट करवा दो.
राइट. अब सौरभ हमें बताएं आपकी क्या की रिकमेंडेशंस हैं?
One of the major gap that still exists in the in our country is due to the poor finances and the geographical conditions of students. So poor financial background होने के कारण बहुत सारे parents they are not really open to providing support, provided they know that their students have that potential, their children have that potential. So this is one of the greatest thing that I think government should take initiative of providing some sort of scholarship or financial support, especially for those students जो minority backgrounds आते हैं, like be it women, be it persons with disability, be it any person who have been far from these subjects. If they are coming forward, government should take some active initiative to provide financial support to them. And also we are lacking a lot on awareness thing. Most of the schools are there जो अपने पुराने system को ही लेकर they are continuing. Even after knowing all these things, they are not very much open to make a change into their management. So this is something I think sensitization workshops and awareness sessions are to be conducted, and some sort of we will have to build that that idea of awareness. मैंने भी इसके regarding I have taken some steps that which I will share later on. So there has to be some common portal I feel जहाँ से जितने भी schools हैं across different states in our country, they are able to access the resource, they are able to access the study materials. They are able to access the information कि अभी latest progress क्या है and what is that update in technology. So this is something I think which should be shared from a common platform as it is being shared from Radio Udan. So I think there should be some portal for STEM which which directs these things directly to all the schools, to all the students, irrespective of their geographical conditions or like places wherever they have been studying or staying.
आप बताएं जो स्टेप्स आपने लिए हैं.
Sure. So it started when I started the fellowship. Okay, so for the first few months, I was just working on reading a lot about the progress and बाकी schools क्या initiatives ले रहे हैं, government का क्या इसमें like role है. And what I found is कि it's ये students are not studying STEM is not like applicable in all the states, क्योंकि southern states में अगर आप जाओगे like Kerala or these states, so there students are actually studying these subjects क्योंकि their people are aware and they are ready to provide support. They understand the importance of equal and like access to these subjects and the concepts and what is the opportunity for the employment. So they are aware of that. वहां से मैंने start किया था and next month I gathered a group of students. There were around 20 to 25 students and I started interacting with them, understanding what they want. And gradually I started giving them programming lectures like coding and all those things. And I completed one entire course with them, which took about, I guess, 3 to 4 months. And after that as well, they started demanding that, sir, we want to learn more. Please bring more courses for us. That was really, really helpful. We also want to follow, like math and science subjects. So इससे 2-3 फायदे हो रहे थे. एक ये कि वो students जो पहले who were a little bit, not sure about what to do. So मैं आपको बता दूं ये जितने भी students थे 2 group में थे. In one group students were there from 6 to 8 and in another group students were there from 9 to 12. So for both the batches I would take classes separately and I got to find कि जितने students अभी 6 to 8 में थे, they are really, really encouraged after knowing about all these things and after getting to perform coding by themselves. So they were really, really happy about it. So I took a course on Python and it took about 3 to 4 months. And after completing it, I still get a lot of calls from them that, sir, we still want to learn from you. So, but limitation on my part is that I am most of the time I'm busy with my current ongoing job and some other works. And I even started giving classes to them on a live basis. But again, challenge ये था कि common availability we were not able to find. When they are available, I am not available. When I am ready, they are not comfortable. So to bridge this gap, I thought of starting an online portal जिसमें programming related courses upload किए जाएं, जो भी accessible books हैं math and science के लिए they should be uploaded, and जो भी progress related या फिर disability sensitization related जो भी blogs है that we can upload. So these were some of the major things, main things that I want to decide. I started this portal. So right now it's in the pre-deployment stage, but students can still access to the portal and get to like view most of the resources there, including some of the initial programming courses as well, जो भी accessible format में वहाँ available है. मैंने script software के साथ demonstrate किया exactly कि हाँ how you have to use it in order to run your program, in order to solve it. And आने वाले time में I wish to bring more and more courses, like some of जो भी currently top of the mind है. They are one of the courses on Android app design using Android Studio. One of the program is full stack with HTML, JavaScript, and CSS, and for further building it on React and Node.js. So that will be a complete package that we are currently targeting these 2 things. So for now, what
portal address क्या है आपका?
Yeah, so that is the important thing. Yeah, so the portal address is a11code.com. a11code.com. So you can access, but it's not completely ready, but it should be ready within a week. So you'll be able to access at least the initial things, as I said. Programming course on Python, you'll be able to access in an accessible format. You'll be able to follow everything because we have taken care of, you're able to do everything on your own using a screen reader. So we have shared all the recommendations there. And other than that, we have created one more playlist on the code editors. Like we have VS Code, we have like other like IntelliJ, we have some other accessible code editors that we use, like Android Studio. I told Android Studio, Visual Studio Code, Visual Studio. So we have shared some of the recommendations over there that you can go and leverage. And in the upcoming time, like my current job profile involves in working with cloud computing. So I wish to bring some more courses because cloud is something which is getting highly popular towards the world, and even governments are coming forward to creating their own special cloud to manage their resources, because that is something which is supposed to, which is being proven as a very, very helpful helpful way to organize the resources and the computation on cloud without having to worry much about the security issues and also the management cost. So I wish to bring some more courses on this as well. So there's a lot of things to come, but अभी के लिए आपको वहाँ पे accessible books मिल जाएंगी class 11-12 की, and I think 11-12 की आपको books मिल जाएंगी, and I'll be uploading the resources for JEE preparation as well very soon. So you'll be able to download these books from there. आपको कुछ disability awareness regarding workshops मिल जाएंगे, and you'll be able to find the programming related courses as I said earlier. And एक और चीज यहाँ पे ऐड करनी थी यहाँ पे कि अगर कोई ऐसी बुक्स है, पीडीएफ है which is in accessible format with you, do share that do share those books with me. We do have access to some APIs of Azure by using which we can convert those books into an accessible format to the greatest extent. So कुछ चीजें जो हम कर पाएंगे वो ये है कि जो portion is in image format, we'll be able to convert it into text back, and there are semantics like headings, lists, paragraphs. So most of the things are lost in PDF, so we try to recover them. So these are primarily two things which you'll be able to work on. So yeah, you can log into the portal and explore. By that time, we'll try to fix all the things which are remaining for now. a11code.com.
Right. तो हम डिस्क्रिप्शन में सौरभ की ईमेल और इस पोर्टल का एड्रेस शेयर कर देंगे ताकि आपको कन्वीनियंट रहे, आप वहां से कॉपी करके भी एक्सेस कर सकते हैं। सौरभ, आप हमें बताएं कि कितनी इम्पोर्टेंट है जावेद विदी फेलोशिप जैसी फेलोशिप? आपको लगता है कि ऐसी और फेलोशिप आनी चाहिए? और एडिशनली वाइल डूइंग योर रिसर्च आपने क्या नया सीखा, क्या नई चीजें जो बिल्कुल आप बेपरवाह थे, जो आपके माइंड में नहीं थी, इस फेलोशिप के माध्यम से आपको वो करने को मिला?
इस तरह की फेलोशिप which promotes advocacy by targeting some common theme, they are popular in other countries, पर इंडिया में से पहले I did not hear any of the advocacy related fellowship which was going. But earlier I thought ये बस like they are doing, but I was not really aware about the significance of these steps which are taken. So it started from understanding the disability as a as a major issue for as a major concept that I was not aware earlier. Earlier I would say that we all are a part of a common community. Why do you want to create a separate group, or why do you want to create a separate community which is targeting some goals? Why do you want to be included in the common theme? But when I went deeper into it and when I started understanding, I got to know that it's really, really important, because it's you who might be, able to access all your things, and who would be, who has gotten all the requirements, all the support that you require. पर हर एक students के लिए ये बात applicable नहीं होती. There are many students who are lacking the necessary support. There are many people who have been going through struggles, and if we don't organize ourselves, there is no other way on which you'll be able to find problems to our solution. And the greatest aspect that this advocacy aims is for going on to the policy level. कि हम अपने आसपास में हम बात नहीं कर रहे हैं, but we are essentially forming our groups. We are gathering the views on a majority. हम अकेले की बात नहीं कर रहे. We are gathering the evidence. And when we have the evidence, then we are able to recommend what exactly is needed for our own welfare. And जब हम एक ग्रुप के साथ जाते हैं किसी भी authority के पास, then that has power, that has an evidence, that has a meaning. Taking an example, अगर मैं किसी कंपनी के पास जाऊं, मैं बोलता हूँ आपकी एप्लीकेशन में यूज नहीं कर सकता, इट्स inaccessible, आप इसे एक्सेसिबल बना सकते हो. Do you think they are going to entertain my request? बट अगर मैं उनको जाके बोलूँ इन इंडिया देयर आर मोर देन 10 लाख पीपल जो आपकी एप्लीकेशन को यूज नहीं कर पा रहे ड्यू टू सर्टेन ग्लिच, और जिसका सोल्यूशन हमारे पास है, आप एक्सेसिबिलिटी ऑटो चेकर से आप एक बार चेक कर लो एंड आप क्या उन इश्यूज को सॉल्व कर सकते हो. नाउ व्हाट डू यू थिंक वुड बी द रिस्पॉन्स? They'll be much more ready to do that because there they see a reason. They see a group. So this is why we all need to organize ourselves, learn the importance of advocacy, learn the process on which we have to pitch our ideas instead of just going and saying everything on a monotonous basis. Form a group, make your opinion strong, and then voice it into the common public and see the kind of response that you'll get. और ऐसा ही हुआ है. हमसे पहले बहुत सारे जो जावेद विती थे और उनके जितने भी टीम्स थी, they have tried a long way to get all these laws in the form of RPWD Act 2016. अगर मैं किसी भी इंस्टीट्यूशन में जाता हूँ और हमारी कंट्री में कोई लॉ नहीं है, अब मैं बोलता हूँ कि मुझे सपोर्ट प्रोवाइड करो, what is the basis on which they will take the responsibility? But if we have the laws which instruct those colleges, those institutions to follow certain guidelines, we can say this is the basis on which we are requesting you to provide us support. So this is the difference कि अगर कोई भी चीज पॉलिसी लेवल पे इम्प्लीमेंट होती है, कोई भी ऐसे मेजर चेंजेस पॉलिसी लेवल से अगर आप रिडायरेक्ट करते हो, then it gets applied into all the other parts of the country. मैं अकेले जाकर एक स्कूल को कन्विंस कर सकता हूँ, but if I go with a group, with the support of the government, with the support of their guidance, it would be reflected into all the parts of our country. So यही दो तीन major observations है. First of all, organizing ourselves, understanding what exactly our needs are, then framing an evidence based recommendations, and then we can pitch it to the whatever body we are thinking for. We can take those recommendations to them, and it would be reflected to all other places. So हर place में it is required, whether it is digital accessibility या फिर STEM education, higher classes में STEM education का accessible होना, या फिर जितने भी applications we get to use, they should also comply with accessibility guidelines. जो भी आप online डिजिटल डॉक्यूमेंट्स एक्सेस करते हो, दे आर ऑल्सो एक्सेसिबल. आप जब कॉमन एरियाज में जाते हो, जैसे कि रेलवे स्टेशन इज स्टिल अ प्लेस वेयर पीपल स्टिल गेट टू फेस अ लॉट ऑफ चैलेंजेस, क्योंकि अभी भी वहाँ पे सपोर्ट का कोई सिस्टम हमारे कंट्री में नहीं है. बट मेट्रो एंड एयरपोर्ट में इट इज अवेलेबल. सो कैन वी थिंक एंड टेल देम कि रेलवे स्टेशन को एक्सेस करने वाले यहाँ देयर आर इवन मोर पीपल हु एक्सेस दिस प्लेसेस. सो कैन यू कीप अ गाइड इन दोज प्लेसेस? कैन यू कंसिडर ऑफ कीपिंग अ गाइड इन दी सिनेमा हॉल्स? Can you think of putting some volunteer services for those people who want to go, in the hill stations or who want to do some trekking? So can you put some guide services for them? बहुत सारी चीजें we can, if we start initiating, it would go on and on. But at the end, जो main मुद्दा है वो यही कि जो भी आपके requirement है, you have to talk about it, you have to frame some opinions based on the evidence, based on the issues, and then you have to pitch it as a majority. It would be reflected in all the places.
थैंक यू सौरभ हमसे बात करने के लिए और इस टॉपिक पर डिटेल में बताने के लिए. एंड इट्स ऑलवेज प्लेजर टू टॉक टू यू, एंड आई थिंक योर स्टडी इज गोइंग टू बी गेम चेंजर इन दिस फील्ड. विशिंग यू ऑल द वेरी बेस्ट फॉर योर ऑल द फ्यूचर एंडेवर्स.
Thank you so much, sir, and thank you everyone for listening, and take care. Thank you everyone once again.
तो आज हमने बात की सौरभ प्रसाद से, जिन्होंने स्टेम एजुकेशन के बारे में बताया. डिस्क्रिप्शन में उनकी ईमेल आईडी और पोर्टल का एड्रेस आपको दे दिया जाएगा. एक्सेस करें, ज्यादा से ज्यादा लोगों तक इस शो को पहुंचाएं ताकि उन लोगों को भी इसका बेनिफिट मिल सके. अगले सप्ताह होगी मुलाकात एक और जावेद अवीदी फेलो के साथ. सुनते रहिए रेडियो उड़ाना फ्लाइट ऑफ लाइफ. बाय बाय.
अब प्रोग्राम बदलता दौर में आपके फेवरेट होस्ट दानिश महाजन करेंगे बात NCPEDP जावेद आबिदी फेलो से. जावेद आबिदी फेलोशिप एक लीडरशिप डेवलपमेंट प्रोग्राम है जो नेशनल सेंटर फॉर प्रमोशन ऑफ एम्प्लॉयमेंट फॉर डिसेबल्ड पीपल यानी NCPEDP द्वारा शुरू किया गया है. ये प्रोग्राम यूथ विद डिसेबिलिटीज के लिए है जो अपना करियर बनाना चाहते हैं डेवलपमेंट सेक्टर में, पर्टिकुलरली डिसेबिलिटी राइट्स और इंक्लूजन में. तो हर सप्ताह होगी एक NCPEDP जावेद आबिदी फेलो से बात और जानेंगे कि उन्होंने डिसेबिलिटी के किस टॉपिक पर की है रिसर्च. तो सुनना मत भूलिएगा प्रोग्राम बदलता दौर हर रविवार रात 9 बजे और सोमवार शाम को 4 बजे सिर्फ और सिर्फ रेडियो उड़ान पर। फॉर मोर इन्फॉर्मेशन लॉग ऑन टू www.radioudan.com।
Novaflix, an accessible OTT platform for visually impaired.
भोली शालिनी उन्हें गंभीरता से देख नजरअंदाज कर अंदर चली जाती है। वो नेशनल नर्सिंग कॉलेज की बिल्डिंग के सामने खड़ी होती है।
अगर आप ब्लाइंड हैं और एंजॉय करना चाहते हैं लेटेस्ट मूवीज, वो भी ऑडियो डिस्क्रिप्शन के साथ, तो आज ही डाउनलोड करें Novaflix प्ले स्टोर से।
हे गाइस, आप अपने फील्ड में मास्टर हैं, सुपर्ब हैं, टैलेंटेड हैं, लेकिन ये क्या टेक्नोलॉजी के मामले में आप थोड़ा सा पीछे हैं? फिकर नॉट यार, आरजे मीनल है ना। आरजे मीनल के साथ हर हफ्ते टेक सिटी सुनिए और टेक्नोलॉजी की हर बात को जानिए। सुनिए टेक सिटी हर गुरुवार रात 9 बजे से 10 बजे तक, जिसका पुनः प्रसारण होगा हर शुक्रवार शाम 4 बजे से 5 बजे तक, सिर्फ और सिर्फ रेडियो उड़ान पर। तो ना रहेगा आप कोई भी टेक्नोलॉजी से दूर। हर हफ्ते टेक सिटी सुनिए हुजूर, सिर्फ और सिर्फ आरजे मीनल के साथ।
दुर्घटनाएं, डिजास्टर्स। बुधवार रात 10 बजे और गुरुवार शाम 5 बजे राजीव भांवरी की जुबानी सिर्फ और सिर्फ रेडियो उड़ान पर, जिन्हें सुन आपके पैर ठंडे हो जाएंगे, रोंगटे खड़े हो जाएंगे। राजीव भांवरी से आप सुनेंगे बड़े पैमाने पर घटित हो रही प्राकृतिक और मौसमी आपदाएं एवं दुर्घटनाएं, जिसके सामने इंसान बेबस और लाचार नजर आते हैं। फॉर मोर इन्फो लॉग ऑन टू www.radioudan.com या डाउनलोड करें हमारी ऐप रेडियो उड़ान फ्रॉम प्ले स्टोर और ऐप स्टोर से।
रिश्तों में है तकरार,
अब तो कोई ऐसा दिन नहीं जब हमारी लड़ाई ना होती हो।
या ऑफिशियल लाइफ में है तनाव।
हाँ, ऑफिस भी टाइम पर पहुंचता हूँ, सारा काम टाइम पे पूरा करके देता हूँ, फिर भी ये कहा जाता है कि यार तुम्हारी जॉब खतरे में है। एकदम मैं परेशान हो चुका हूँ, बताओ अब मैं क्या करूँ।
आरजे नरेश सुनेंगे, समझेंगे आपकी हर बात, दिल से दिल तक में होगा आपकी हर समस्या का सटीक इलाज और सही समाधान।
अपनी बात को उनके सामने बहुत पोलाइटली तरीके से रखें, ये काम करता है।
तो सुनना ना भूले लाइव शो दिल से दिल तक हर गुरुवार रात 10 बजे से 11 बजे तक और रिपीट हर शुक्रवार शाम 5 बजे से 6 बजे तक। फॉर मोर इन्फो लॉग ऑन टू www.radioudan.com या फिर डाउनलोड करें रेडियो उड़ान ऐप फ्रॉम प्ले स्टोर या ऐप स्टोर से।
जब खबर हो पक्की तो तहलका तो मचेगा। क्या हो रहा है आज, क्या होने वाला है कल, अब ये है अप टू डेट रहने का वक्त विद लेटेस्ट PWD न्यूज, जॉब अलर्ट्स, इवेंट्स एंड करंट हैपनिंग्स। साथ ही साथ जानिए विभिन्न NGOs के बारे में जो कार्यरत हैं PWD वेलफेयर के लिए। ओनली विद गौरी कुबेर इन द शो कम्युनिटी कलर्स, जो कि प्रसारित किया जाएगा शुक्रवार रात 9 बजे एवं शनिवार शाम 4 बजे। सुनना बिल्कुल ना भूलिएगा।
कभी अतीत का किस्सा सुनाती, कभी उलझे सवालों का जवाब ढूंढ लाती, कभी बनती खाली समय का सहारा, सुकून से भरा है इसमें जीवन सारा। इसकी कहानी कविताओं में मिलता ज्ञान का भवसागर, ये किताबों की दुनिया है जो भर दे गागर में सागर। कभी मोहब्बत के किस्से, कभी परियों की कहानी। सुनना ना भूलिए शो बुक वर्ड आरजे राजेश्वरी की जुबानी।
सुनना ना भूलिए शो बुक वर्ल्ड हर बुधवार शाम 8 बजे से 9 बजे तक
और रिपीट ब्रॉडकास्ट हर बृहस्पतिवार शाम 3 बजे से 4 बजे तक।
For more info, log on to www.radioudan.com.
Do you feel confused while speaking in English? Enhance your English vocabulary and learn some amazing words every week. Tune into Vocabulary Dose every Thursday 7 to 8 p.m. and repeat broadcast on Friday 2 to 3 p.m. with logophile RJ Divya Sharma. Only on Radio Udan, a flight of life. Tune in now.